It's 5:30. Call this order. You all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will you please get a roll call of the members present, please?
Very good, sir. Mr. Polaire.
Here.
Ms. Graham.
Here.
Ms. Conover.
Present.
Mr. Whitten.
I am here.
Mr. Paparot.
Here.
Mr. Biggs.
Here.
Mr. Rivas.
Here.
You have a quorum 7-0.
Thank you very much. Approval of minutes July 22nd and October 3rd of 2013, which is budget minutes. We have a motion on both, second on both. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Both minutes are approved. First reading, sir.
The following appropriations come before you for your consideration this evening. The Porter County General Fund, an additional $35,526. The Porter County Motor Vehicle Highway Fund, $60,000. The Porter County Parks Operating Fund, $13,000. The Porter County Recorder Perpetuation Fund, $22,089. The Porter County Auditor Non-Reverting Fund, $146,054.69. Porter County Hospital Interest Fund, $5 million. The Porter County Prosecutor Board Incentive Fund, $4,000. The Porter County Community Supervision Grant, $175,000. A reduction of appropriation of the Porter County General Fund in the amount of $100,000. A reduction of the Porter County Juvenile Detention Code, a reduction of $31,343, sir.
Thank you. We're going to jump here a little bit. Parks Operating. You have an additional $10,000. Look at your second sheet. $10,000 to 3510 power. $3,000 to 3920 disposal, cover cost for remainder of 2014. What's your pleasure with this request?
I'll make the motion.
Motion and a second. Is there discussion?
This is the non-general fund.
Yes.
Just wanted to clarify.
All right. Any further discussion? Roll call on this request, please.
Parks Operating, Ms. Graham.
Yes.
Ms. Conover.
Yes.
Mr. Whitten.
Yes.
Mr. Paparot. Mr. Biggs.
Yes.
Mr. Rivas.
Yes.
Mr. Polaire.
Yes.
7-0 in the affirmative.
I owe you a call back. Superior Court 3 is a transfer 500 from 3110 legal to 3130 training. Additional money needed in line item. It's your pleasure with Court 3.
Move. Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Superior Court 1, transfer 175 from 3110 legal to 3720 software.
Move. Second.
Motion and second. Discussion.
It's $175.
Yes, $175. What did I say?
$175.
Dollars. All in favor? Thank you, Jim. All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I think, Judge Harper, you had something on the agenda we needed to.
Mr. Grant?
Yeah, that's fine. The line is back, so I can't really. Community service grant, that one? All right. Community supervision grant, there's an additional $175,000 to 3950 contractual services. Grant received, provide financial assistance to courts supervising adult offenders in the community, with a special emphasis on those supervising persons diagnosed with a mental disorder.
Move.
Do a motion. And a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Conover.
Yes.
Mr. Whitten.
Yes.
Mr. Paparot. Mr. Biggs.
Yes.
Mr. Rivas.
Yes.
Mr. Polaire.
Yes.
Ms. Graham.
Yes.
7-0 in the affirmative.
Did you hear anything else?
Okay.
Juvenile Detention Code, 144. Behavior Coordinator D0111 from 37,929 to 6,586. Reduction of appropriation 31,343 from 1110 salaries. Complete salary of Behavior Coordinator 37,929 was out of codes. Due to a reduction in collection of codes fees, that position will be placed in a vacant position in the JDC General Fund budget, with the remainder supplemental salary coming out of the codes. Any questions about this request? And what's your pleasure? A motion and a second. How about discussion? Hearing none, let's get a roll call.
This is on the 144 introduction, sir.
I assume the motion is second concurrence for both?
Yes.
And the answer is yes.
Very good. Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Paparad? Mr. Biggs?
Yes.
Mr. Rivas?
Yes.
Mr. Polari?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
7-0 in the affirmative.
Thank you very much for taking us. I hope you have great.
It ought to be a real stitch.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Smile.
You're welcome to stay.
We'll laugh.
Oh, I got that wrong.
MVH 1176-40-91 additional. 40,000 to 3650 vehicle repair, 20,000 to 2320 auto truck and equipment. A series of transfers, 7,700 from 2360, 7,700 from 2360. Move.
Second.
On all the transfers and additional? All right, and any discussion? Hearing none, let's get a roll call.
Mr. Paparad? Mr. Biggs?
Yes.
Mr. Rivas?
Yes.
Mr. Polari?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
7-0 in the affirmative.
Thank you. Hume Bridge, transfer $75,000 from motor vehicles to COM, 30,000 from other mobile equipment to COM, bridge maintenance, and new bridge construction.
Move it forward.
There's a motion,
Second.
and there's a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you. You're welcome. Have a good one. Hospital interest. There's a request of $5 million to MedLife, transfer of $972,000 from contractual to MedLife to cover health insurance claims to the end of 2014. Any surplus will be encumbered and used to pay claims incurred in December but not received until January 2015. Commissioner Blaney, come on down. Mike's in consensus, by the way. So, we've had a lot of discussion about this, I think amongst ourselves, not more than 3 at a time, and I think that to clarify that, you can take. We have a couple choices here. I'm not in favor of moving $5 million right now. I want to see what other options are. What I would suggest, and I thought that $1 million transfer would get us to the end of next month, because I was hoping we could then have the commissioners come in front of us with 2 things. One is prepared to discuss what money is available in unencumbered seated, and to discuss the various options that they're coming up with for the health insurance looking into next year. That would be the opportunity for us to ask questions, just shy of interrogation, to get some answers. That's not going to happen, Craig. Let me finish here. I think that $1 million will not get us to the end of next month. I'm being told now it may be a little closer to 2.5. Is that correct?
My projection is $2,452,399.78. So yes, close to 2.5.
I was close. So, give you gold star for quick math. We had set aside $1 million hospital interest money for a payment for 911. Apparently, they didn't need that payment had been made, so we have $972,000 sitting there that we had previously allocated for 911, not necessary at this point. That would be a low-hanging fruit that we could use to plug nearly $1 million of that gap, I think, and then we would discuss the other 1.5. You guys can tell me your thoughts. I'm not voting to move $5 million tonight. You guys may want to.
Well, I spoke with the county auditor this afternoon, and why don't you inform the board of what you have found in the way of income taxes that are unencumbered?
Please want to see it? Or income tax? Okay. And I shared this earlier with the commissioner. She had asked the same question. This is what we show. Again, this is just the balances on the books. This is taking into effect the encumbrances at the end of the year, the cash balances at the end of the year, any cash that was brought in this year, as well as the new appropriation for 2015, and new cash that we're expected to get in from income tax revenue for the remainder of the year. This is what we show on the county books. Our cash projection to 12/31/14 is a bit over $9 million. Okay, The appropriation that remains between now and the end of the year, the outstanding appropriation is just short of $3 million. Okay, now, I can't speak to what other commitments the commissioners may have made outside of this, but in terms of just appropriation and money on the books, there's a bit over $6 million difference right now. That's cash and unappropriated / unencumbered.
In my conversations, I guess my conversations with commissioners had led me to believe that maybe, and just looking at some of the projects, it led me to believe that, and I'm not far off, I suppose, to the big picture, I was thinking about $5 million. So that was going to be the discussion for next meeting, but I want to make sure that we fund health insurance to get us into the next meeting. I think that's my other thing. I know where you're going with that, and that's exactly what I wanted to drill down on at our next meeting is if, well, go ahead.
Well, the commissioners had originally requested $5 million. I believe that they were requesting it out of hospital interest. My thought is this, and I know that you're relatively still new, I mean, you haven't finished your first year yet.
She's actually got her first year under her belt.
Oh, that's right.
You know, I love Karen.
But because of your tenure here on this board, I mean, nobody's better informed of the discussions that have gone on for the last 3.5 years or so with the county council and the board of commissioners in regard to the hospital, the county employee health program. And it's, you know, everybody's crystal clear, I believe, on this point, in that it's the commissioner's program. And as a council, you know, we expect that the commissioners to present to us a program that is affordable. And the commissioners have not done that.
Well, okay, but hold on a minute, hold on. Let's go back to my comment. What I expect, and I'm still the president of the board, and what I expect from the commissioners is this. I expect them to come to us at our next meeting, and I expect them to have two things. One is a reason why we can't drill into those unencumbered seated funds to get us to the end of the year to fund this year's health insurance. That's the short-term fix. And what I expect of the commissioners is at our next meeting to come in front of us with different options that they have found or are finding for our health insurance for next year. Those are two expectations that I have with the commissioners. Will they be able to do so? So we can look back, we can look forward. I know where you're coming from, Jim, but at this point, I just want to get it taken care of. I want to get it a very concise discussion for going into next year, and getting budgets for next year, so that this does not remain an unanswered white elephant in the room. So,
Well, I mean, that's absolutely where I'm coming from, is that we have to have, we must have a program that we can afford. And it's not fair to the council, you know, for any commissioner or any elected official to say that the county council underfunded the health insurance program. Because I believe that this council funded what it felt they could afford.
Well, we're not gonna get a program for $1.8 million.
No, we're not. I absolutely agree. But, again, I think it's this board's obligation to make it, to tell the commissioners, to give you the information, the help that you need, how much can we afford? Give you that, provide that information to you, and I believe that we can do that through the help of Vicki, the help of Bob, and to you know, just break it down to show what can we afford next year, and give that to you and let you do your job. That's fair enough.
well, and I think to go one step further, candidly, guys, if we don't get the foundation that we're going to discuss here in a little bit rolling, we don't get it funded, and we don't get the interest being earned at a reasonable level, the hard answer is we can't afford any insurance. And we are using non-general fund money to plug the gap here, which you know, we're not passing an income tax, and that's what people are falling on the sword all over the state because of the property tax cap. We're not doing that. We're keeping the income tax off of our constituents. I'll never vote for one, and we're not shoving a new income tax down their throats. We're looking for other ways to fund government. And our biggest and brightest star on the horizon is that foundation. And that's a game changer for us, we all know that. But you're right, we have to, on top of all that, I don't want us to be in a situation where we start earning some decent interest off of this money, and we're using it all for operations, because then that is us all saying, we're okay with the status quo, we're okay with not moving things forward, we're okay with the way things are right now, and nobody on this board believes that. So we have to, on top of get that interest rolling, we have to do some cuts, and health insurance is a clear, piece of the puzzle that has to be trimmed.
I'm not sure one way or the other whether it's cuts what we need. I just think that we need to operate differently. And I think that if we do that, on top of the other things, some of which Dan pointed out, if we do that on top of that, we will work our way out. But doing one or the other, just one or the other, is not going to make a difference. It's not going to make the difference we need.
I just want to make a comment, Dan, we want the commissioners to come up and present, tell us their remedy. Don't take this against you, Commissioner. But this will be the fourth budget I've sat through, and every year it's a dog and pony show that we're going to save this much money, and every year it costs more. So what makes anybody think this year is going to be any different?
No, the good news is
Well, it hasn't been in the past. We see what we've been told, and it has never happened.
Well, I
Problem
like.
is that it's impossible to control the money.
Again, maybe some other options for our insurance will give us.
We are looking at that.
Will give us a better, I mean, you know that when you're self-insured, it's claims driven, and a lot of it is hoping for a moderate year, and sometimes it comes that way, and sometimes it doesn't, and we need to get something that is a little clearer, on cost, and where we can sort of hang our hats and know that this is what we should be counting on it being. So, those are some of the things we're gonna discuss for our next meeting, correct, Lori? So, with all that in mind, what do you guys wanna do with this request?
Well, they should table it until
We have made claims, we should do review, we know, we'll do.
they can't. That was the same.
No, well,
We don't have to,
we don't need all five, yeah, no, I just wanna get us through to the next meeting.
we do, so, I know we talked about and 1.5,
Well, I'll motion to use income taxes to pay, but I cannot support using hospital proceeds money.
Well, we're not talking about proceeds.
I know what we're talking about.
We're talking about interest.
Well,
That's very different, because the proceeds requires a unanimous vote, and I won't vote for that either. So, done.
we're still talking
Yeah,
hospital money.
so,
And I don't think any of us envisioned 24 months ago, we'd be using, whether it was the principal or the proceeds from the interest, to pay.
I think we're more than happy to use it.
Thank you.
I don't know if we have to have a plan.
yeah, Scott, if we wanted to use seeded, what, can we just do this tonight?
No, we
Or-
can't do it tonight. We have to submit a seated plan, we go down the next meeting.
It either has to be a season plan or it has to be
It's- Either way, we can't do it tonight, it's seated.
Right.
Can we go with what Jim said, can we survive till our next meeting? Are we 2.5 months behind now? For $2.5 million, theoretically, it's about $1 million a month, are we 2.5 months behind on paying the bills?
Well, you're not 2.5 months behind. What you are is, this is the money that's going to have to be put in the account to basically fund the August, the last week of July and the August payments, as well as the projection of what it's going to take for the 5 weeks of September.
So we're not, nothing to do.
Well, again, I didn't negotiate, the auditor's office did not negotiate the terms of discounts and how the program.
Forget the projection, what do we owe right now?
$1.1 million. About $1 million.
And the rhetorical question is, what happens if we do nothing?
Well, here's the thing, if we don't fund it, he can't.
I understand, what happens?
Well, I'm not paying the claims, I'm funding the payment of the claims. Mr. Richie Miller pays the claims.
I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I just want
We
everyone to
spent 25
understand.
minutes here discussing the grammar, but let's, let's just talk about dollars and cents. You get that, Bob? If we don't put the money there, there's no way.
Okay, they don't pay the claim. Okay, I understand the concept.
Well, wasn't there some discussion?
Well, then they
that-
refuse care. I guess that's my question. Are we at that point?
CVS is already refusing to pay prescriptions.
And do we lose discounts?
Yes.
Well, we're losing the- So we reached the threshold. I make a motion, we take $1 million to the hospital and just pay it and get us through the next meeting for the solvents.
Well, we got $1 million, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna make the motion, $1 million to hospital interest, not their five, but to keep this thing alive, so the employees don't get their health care shut off.
Okay,
That's coming.
Okay, let me ask this question before we get to that vote. If we were to take the close to $1 million, let's just say $1 million that we already set aside for 911 that we don't need, so that's just, we're moving that over. That brings us almost up to date. And then, so anything that occurs in the next 5 weeks
I withdraw my motion.
would not be able to be paid.
But you still run into the same problem, don't you? That money that was set aside for 911 was in a CEDA project.
No, that's different. That's different, right? That's different. Yeah. It's not enough money.
Then I'll withdraw my motion. I'll change my motion then. We're going to transfer the $1 million that was going to 911 over to health insurance to get us by to our next meeting, so we can peel back this onion all the way down to the core because we need to. Huh?
It's not gonna get us by.
It'll get us till our next meeting.
Not so.
You just said it, what's your next meeting?
We got a budget meeting, right?
I know it doesn't fix anything, I just don't understand when you run stuff clear up to the deadline like this, and it pigeonholes us.
All right, here's what I want to do. We're talking about our first reading being on September 10th. Make the motion for $1 million, and then let's fund that and deal with, we can, at our first reading, we can put it on the agenda, we're going to talk about, you have your presentation ready for the, see it, and
I don't know if we'll have all the insurance. Steve Brady started.
We did?
Steve Brady,
I make a motion to transfer the $1 million that was going to 911 over to the health insurance. If I've been.
So your motion is to transfer $972,000 from the hospital interest budget to a line item in the hospital interest budget for health insurance?
To give them the health insurance, keep us alive for a little longer.
does that keep us alive, or does that just
Well, we just stopped the
It
bleeding.
was the end of the month.
to the end of August?
Right.
So it's
Well, no, we're already, he hasn't paid half of July, so we got no breathing space. He gets everybody caught up to the end of August, and we're gonna have the same discussion again in 2 to 3 weeks. I'm just trying, I'm gonna be philosophical. We made a contract with the employees, so if we provide with healthcare, if somebody have enough guts to make the motion to cancel the whole damn thing, one or the other. We made a contract with them, we made a social contract, provide them with healthcare. If we don't wanna provide them with healthcare, then let's kill them. But right now, we made that contract for this year. That's
no,
it.
we gotta fund health insurance.
Okay.
I just,
Motion for it.
I wanna take what we can out of unencumbered seating. Second, wanna do that. And they're willing to do it.
Oh, yeah, but we can't do it tonight.
Right,
So,
so.
I'm saying, I'm just trying to get us through till the time of meet, and they can advertise the plan.
I don't understand why we can't take it out of income tax. Let me throw an example.
We're going to.
The commissioners, on their own, without discussion with the county council, approving that plan, they appropriated $150,000 a year for the next 3 years to empower Porter County. That wasn't originally in the plan.
Scott, you wanna weigh in on this?
I don't know whether on this, but I can tell you, I don't know what's in the house committee, but I can tell you that what we're talking about is moving unallocated seating to pay health insurance.
Yes.
We're talking about, okay, we're talking about two different things.
Okay.
Go ahead.
One thing we're talking about is in the hospital interest budget, we budgeted last year almost $1 million. $1 million we keep talking about for 911.
We get all that, flash forward. He wants to know why we can't snatch it out of seated funds tonight.
Because
That's the answer.
it's
It's not been advertised.
It has been advertised, but it is.
The
But his question is, they've spent money that wasn't allocated in any kind of plan before in Power Porter County. We didn't approve that in
No,
the plan.
exactly.
So why do they,
Well, I don't,
if the money's there in one of the funds, can't they just use it? If they did before.
That may have been a specific use that fit into that or something.
I mean,
It's in the plan.
Listen, we can argue the semantics of that, but the point is, it's not been advertised for our meetings.
So we can,
We can't do it tonight. I get what you're, I'm okay with the idea of going and doing it, drilling in there and getting it. We just can't do it tonight. We just can't do it tonight. It's not been advertised. We can do it at our September 10th meeting. Why don't we do that?
the motion is second on the floor.
All right, call the question. Let's go. Give me a roll call.
Okay. This is the transfer, how much money?
$972,000.
$972,000 from hospital interest, which was previously appropriated for 911, and transfer that over into, insurance, correct? The insurance line item underneath the, commissioner's budget, correct?
it's $972,000 from 3950 contractual to 1220 medical life insurance.
Okay.
The second part of
I
that.
just want to make sure I had it.
I want to make sure.
Yeah, I want to make sure I had it right on book. Okay, wonderful. Mr. Biggs,
No.
Mr. Rivas,
Yes, I'm gonna run the employee out here.
Mr. Polaric,
No.
Ms. Graham.
I'm going to say yes, because I think that, as a council, we're charged to pay the bills, and this is money, no matter how, we're supporting the workforce.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Popera? 5-2 in the affirmative.
Got it. So, here's what I want to do. September 10th is our first reading, that's usually a pretty quick meeting. I would like at that meeting, us to place on the agenda, this request for MedLife, but I want it to come out of the seeded funds, too. I want us to have a couple options in front of us, so that we can, at that meeting, we can take it out of unallocated, uncovered seeded funds and deal with that.
So we need an additional request, we will advertise it, and I would ask that you make a motion to table this additional request, that way
Both will be on.
both be on there, we have the flexibility, we don't run through that.
Perfect. Can I get a motion to table the request of $5 million to 1220 Med Life Insurance? That additional. Can I get that motion? The motion. Can I get a second to it?
Second.
Second. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so now that's on the table. We're going to deal with that at September 10th meeting, and we're going to deal with the request to move it from unallocated seeded funds as well. So we have two options that'll be in front of us on September 10th. We'll deal with it.
Do the commissioners have to create, a project?
No, they don't have to, they can do it, they can come and ask for it to be additional placed in their general fund budget from the fund, they can ask for that.
Whatever it needs to be, make sure it gets that way, Scott. So we can, then we'll address everybody's concern. Again, this is to get us to the end of this year, but I want to have a discussion about our options for next year. We don't have that at the 10th meeting, because I'm not sure you're going to have all the information by then. But we're going to have that discussion soon.
Yeah, and Commissioner Blaney, I mean, I hope that the commissioners have that discussion amongst the three of you, because, I mean, if you all know whether or not income taxes, you can live with the idea of income taxes being at least a percentage of obligated to the cost of running the health insurance program. That's gonna make this board's job all that much easier to settle a budget for 2015.
I think you guys get that right. All right, fantastic. Okay, sheriff, additional, 55.40 and 24 cents to 11:30 overtime. Are you done? No, is that it for you? You stay for me. We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. This is tied to reimbursement. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Biggs?
Yes.
Mr. Polaric? Ms. Graham?
Yeah.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Popera? Mr. Biggs?
Yes.
7-0 in the affirmative.
Perfect.
Big, it's too much.
I
Did he vote twice?
We got them all.
Jail, 1000-1032-32, reduction of appropriation, reason unused salaries is $100,000 from 1110 salaries. I like that kind of request.
Yes.
Motion second. Third. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yeah.
Ms. Conley? Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Pomeroy? Mr. Biggs?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
7-0 in the affirmative.
Second amendment to the Porter County Police Retirement Plan.
First, I want to introduce Mr. Chris Diltz. He's kind of the administrator for our sheriff's pension.
He's always smiling. He knows that we
He's just a happy guy. And there are actually three amendments. I really only want to talk about the one because it's time sensitive and we really don't have a lot of choice. I think he can explain some specifics. The important thing is the IRS says we need to do it and there's no cost to the plan. So I think you've all seen what this entails anyway. Well, just the one. There are other two that I really don't want to take up time this evening. And Chris is going to tell you when invite anyone from the council to the pension committee meeting.
Well, what I want to suggest is, from our end, I would like to, because I've been asked a lot of questions about the pension fund, and some of them I have answers for, some of them I don't, but I would suggest that I appoint a quick committee from our end that can sort of go out and meet with you guys, get some information together, come back and sort of report to the remainder of the board, some of the findings and some explanations. So, who would like to serve on that committee? It's just two or three of us. You have Bob Pomperod, Jim Biggs, and Sylvia. All right, that's the three. So if you guys, maybe for our next meeting, if you guys can get it together to go out and get a handle on where we're at with the pension plans and come back and give us some information. Go ahead, Sheriff, sorry.
Well, no, that's all right. That's really all I'm saying. Unless, Chris, if you want to explain.
I'd like to walk
the
through
details.
Yeah. In your packages, we have the two amendments. We're going to address the IRS curative amendments. For your information for the future is the drop amendments. So covering the curative amendments, there's a cover page there explains it. I'll have you read that for a moment. And then I would walk you through the other documents attached, so it's not just us stating this is how it is. You can see where those items come from.
So the curative amendment is just that you're bringing in compliance to IRS.
Yes, and we have to do it every 5 years. And these have been brought every 5 years, give or take. It takes nearly 2 years to complete the process.
And our deadline on this is September 21st.
Yes, and I apologize for being this late, but you'll see the dates on there. It all happened in July. They expect it to happen, so we only have time to meet with the pension committee and the merit board to get their approval to sign the documents before we bring it in. And I believe they already have that file. If not, I have a file of blank documents that we can sign tonight.
I think you have the originals with my signature
Yes,
and
there they are. Thank you.
board signature.
What is your pleasure with the First Amendment to the Porter County Police Retirement Curative?
Motion to approve IRS curative amendment.
We have two motions to approve. I'll treat one of them as a second. All right. Jim, you're second.
Which Jim?
Jim, you're second. Okay. Any discussion? I mean, this doesn't affect the cash contribution from the county or any of that kind of
It
business.
does not, and that's stated in McCready Keene's letter. If you don't need to point out the sentence, it's the middle of the page. There's a red, and then it says the amendment language does not affect how benefits are calculated, nor does it impact the county's cash flow funding requirement for the plan.
What was the curative?
The curative amendment is stated there. They actually have to update the language details on that.
No, you can send it to me.
I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
But in here it reads, they just have to update the language for compensation after severance from employment. It's one small section of the whole document that needed a word or two different than it previously had. It points out a number of benefits that are in the law. We are not changing our plan just because this language is in there. None of the current plan document changes. We have to bring you an amendment to change anything else. So the definition of what's included in the calculations, what will be included for pension are all in like section 2.
You're not
Those are
changing, you're not
affected.
changing any of the definitions, of what
Correct.
qualifications, severance,
Correct.
monthly benefit, et cetera. This is more of a
Correct.
housekeeping issue.
Required by the IRS, so the plan does not lose its
Right,
tax
not
status.
tax exempt tax. And this section 415 has been out there for,
Forever.
right.
It's just updated it recently, they never stop messing.
Well, I gotta be honest, I don't like anything last minute, this has been out there for decades, probably.
You know, this is only last minute because it took them nearly 2 years to do
Private letter ruling,
the restatement, which they did for every plan in the state, and it has to be done every 5 years. By the time the IRS got back to them, you see the IRS's letter is dated June 24th.
Why don't we,
So that's why it's last minute. The IRS says you have 90 days from this date.
we get it, let's get a roll call, please.
Thank you.
Right. Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Oh, silly.
Mr. Paparad?
yes.
Mr. Biggs?
Yes.
Mr. Rivas?
Yes.
Mr. Polaric?
Yes.
7-0 the affirmative.
The second document in front of us is the proposal to adopt the first.
And we're going to delay that one, but this way it's presented to you in advance.
Okay.
We'll be with the committee. We will always present it in advance.
Yeah, could you, yeah,
It's just, this one was so short term, we couldn't possibly.
prepare something for the committee that breaks this down, in layman's terms.
And we'll talk other topics as well.
Yeah, and then you guys can come back and.
Sure, but this way you have something in advance to read. If the amendment's already done and it's been approved by the sheriff and the mayor.
Perfect, okay. Sounds
Good.
good.
And Jim, you wanna spearhead, allowing this all in the same?
Yeah, I can do that. Dave, if you could just, if we could talk and get a, we could be part of that meeting, in a couple of days, we can please from that pass it to Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make myself available.
Great.
Something preferably in the late afternoon.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get something figured out for you Fridays.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna wait here just for a second while, make a little bit of housekeeping.
That's why there's a sign on the door.
I was waiting, this was gonna be the first thing Jim didn't comment on.
You're right.
I'm an eat freak. You have no idea how much that bothers me.
Okay, moving right along, prosecutor 4D incentive, additional 4,000 to 36% maintenance agreements, monthly fee for portals to allow electronic submissions for citizens. Dean, how are you? Doing all right. What's your pleasure?
Second.
So a motion is second on the floor, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Paparad?
Yes.
Mr. Rivas?
Yes.
Mr. Biggs?
Yes.
Mr. Polaric?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
7-0 the affirmative.
Clerk, 1000-1001-01, 144 for deputy assistant accounting from 27,000 to 0. Excuse me, 15,000 from 1110 salaries to 1120 hourly, 4,300 from 3710 equipment to 4510 data processing, removing full-time positions to reduce county costs for birth and insurance.
Motion to approve.
The motion is second on the floor, any discussion? I assume your motion, your second addresses the 144 ambulance transfers?
Yep.
Any discussion? Karen, how you doing? Okay, missed it. Okay. underway. Can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Paparad?
Yes.
Mr. Biggs?
Yes.
Mr. Rivas?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
Yeah.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
7-0 affirmative.
I have one other thing. I really have 3 positions that are open, and at this point in time, usually there are individuals that have children that are willing to work like the 9 to 2 hour, which covers the lunches and things of that sort, part-time, okay? So my plan is with those 3 positions, if this works out, to transfer it over, because next year, we're looking at online filing, which is gonna reduce staff costs as well as some of the other online payments. So I don't wanna hire full-time people at this point in time, and then have to get rid of them later. So my main thing is if we can use this part-time, and then it reduces the cost overall for the county, and it's gonna work out, I just wanna let you know, I have 2 other positions. One individual moved out of state, one Judge Harper graciously office position, and then Judge Bradford offered a position. So 2 of them went to the courts, but I wanted to let you know that I do have 2 others that I may be coming before you again this afternoon.
But those would be part-time.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. B. IPS has been withdrawn. Memorial Opera House transfer 2,500 clams from 2250, other supplies to 2230, food and grocery. More alcohol has been ordered for the bar, so more funds are needed in food and grocery. Who can argue that? The best reason ever all night. We got a motion and a second. Discussion?
Samples?
I would assume the $2,500 will actually make money with that because you are selling out.
Big event, has been big event? Big event.
It was a huge one last week.
Thank you, Jeremy, I wasn't gonna go that far.
How's that fund, how's the balance of that fund running?
All right, so, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed? That's it. Record perpetuation additional of 23,089 to 4510 data processing. Purchase of new digital microfilm scanner and upgrade of existing digital microfilm scanner. All right, what's your pleasure? A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Paparad?
Yes.
Mr. Biggs?
Yep.
Mr. Rivas?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
Yeah.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
7-0 affirmative.
And just so everybody's clear, I mean, yes, it's not, it's come, right, it's non-general, it's coming out of professional.
Yes, it's coming out of our previous fund, and it's part of a project we're doing, it's kind of an oxymoron, it's an upgrade to the microfilm scanner, when you hear microfilm, you think old technology, which is the fact that the scanner is incredible device, we already have one in place, and it's fantastic, with incredible quality of this device.
It's a perfect use for that money.
So, thank you very much.
Reassessment, 1188-40-09, transfer 4,100 from 1120 hourly to 1230 per. PERF was underfunded. Pleasure. Motion. Second. Discussion? All. Almost got it.
How did we become underfunded?
I'm not entirely sure. There were, I wasn't there for part of that, so I don't want to speak for anyone, but I guess, what I was told was we were told we needed one round, then it was lower later on.
I was actually asked to do it anyway. Thank you.
Oh, you got the right question.
You looked right at her.
Let me be polite. I'm here to just jump in as being a gentleman, you know, as your boss. So nobody, we don't know.
No, I can explain on that, again, I can't speak for who said what, but in the previous year, there was a larger appropriation for, PERF on the reassessment for the school district officers, the tier level 2 and 3 to give an extra level, and they had been funded out of reassessment. It was decided that that would not come out of reassessment, so that's why they lowered the budget. We're going to phase into a budget going forward now. It is coming out of reassessment, so now we have to increase
signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Done. Auto non-reverting, additional $146,054.69 to $39.50 contractual services to cover already paid invoices for the assessor's office.
Is that a typo, already paid invoices? It's already paid.
No, what,
what we had done is we had covered invoices that appeared before the auditor as part of the or assessor as part of the T2M program, even though it wasn't officially around, we're still helping him out with programs that he had invoked the prior year, and he had to complete the contractual obligations that he made. And basically what it is that we've all the funds that we would have used out of our funds to be able to pay for our customer, what we do in our office, or what we plan to do in our office, were expended to the purposes of the assessor. And so now all I'm doing is asking for, I've got about $150,000 worth of expenses for the remainder of this year that are going to be out of Ron reverting. And ostensibly, I'm asking him for 146, which is what we spent on him to cover our invoices for the rest of the year. And that includes everything that we've got left that we need to do, including going after the folks that still owe us money from illegal homesteads.
What, can you tell me, because I got a call from the assessor last night, tell me he couldn't be here, because he's out of town, meeting, but he did not, but he indicated that he did not think that $146,000 had been paid for the purpose of his office.
Well, I've got the detail. The idea group, when he went virtual, was $50,000.
When was that paid?
Between last year and this year.
Between last year?
Right.
I have printout. Can you be a little more specific?
I don't have it in front of me, I just came up with the total. I have the total for what was spent for him.
When was that spent, sometime this year?
It was either this is everything between last year and this year.
Well, we're looking at this year.
Well, I understand that, but some of the stuff that I spent for him for last year were bills that came in from last year that I completed this year. DRD is $49,000, Etzler was $18,009, Senator and Associates is $10,000, and Pictometry was $17,000. So ostensibly what I'm at, I mean, you could rationalize saying, I need $150,000, and I'm just asking for the 146 that I expended to his office to be able to cover the bills for the rest of the year. I mean, that's just the argument I'm making, but basically I need $150,000, 146, that's just how I articulated it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion and a second, keep going with discussion. What do you guys think?
Well, I've talked to Vicki, and so far what we've come up with is $41,678.
Yeah, that may have been. I mean, it's between the 2 years. This is something I put up with. Essentially, what I need, Councilman, is this is the money. I'm out of money, okay? I have no more money left to pay. The existing bills I have are the ones that were for the remainder of the year. And I expended a lot of money over the last 2 years. We have over $400,000 in the account. I need $150,000 to continue to pay the bills for the remainder of the year. And basically, all I'm doing is to try and recoup what I invested in the assessor for this year and last year to be able to cover the expenses I have for the remainder of this year.
I guess I don't have, on its face, I don't have a problem with it, but I think I want to get assessor.
I think I do too.
I'm going to be honest with you. When you called me late yesterday, so I didn't really have a chance to dig in, but I guess it's kind of like that.
Well, again, I think we would be a assessor here. Sheila, you can't speak to this issue, and I can.
Well, these are the bills that we presented before my office to pay.
Well,
and sign the claim.
And I'm not trying.
Okay, that's fine.
No, I'm not. This isn't, you know.
But I at least need the money to be able to pay the bills on a short-term basis. So even if you're not going to go the whole on 150, I mean, I have to pay some bills here between this month and next month when we see them again.
What do you have? What do you think you have out there?
Oh, I got. Let's see. At least 50,000. This is just the professional services that are bills that are out there that exist. That would carry me through. Because I have no fundamental problem with that at all. If you're just trying to
I
verify.
withdraw my motion for the whole thing.
I'll second that motion. All right.
Yeah, that'd be perfectly.
Let's get to the next meeting. Let's get the assessor here. Let's see what's, kind of get some clarification on the discrepancy, and then we'll move forward. That's my suggestion. Do what you want. Roll call, please.
Very good.
what was it?
It's for 50,000.
Can I clarify something? Is this for the outstanding expenditure bill? That the assessment-
No.
This is for the stuff.
No,
This is stuff he's gotta pay right now to get it.
Yes.
Putting $50,000 in 3950 contractual services.
I'm sorry?
It is.
No, what this will be paying for is consultants, okay. What this is paying for is, will be paying for is fees outstanding, or bills outstanding for, DRD, Burke Costanza Carberry, Chris Buckley, a small amount to Bennett, and some to Hannah.
That's not contractual services.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's 50,000 to 3950 contractual services and then on the burning fund.
Right, that's what the whole thing was to begin with.
Right.
Right.
And I believe some of that was generated, some of those bills are generated due to the negotiations with the hospital.
Yes,
I think that's true.
yes, no, that's absolutely true.
So, all right, so we got a motion and a second, can we get a roll call, please?
Okay, Mr. Biggs? Mr. Rivas?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Witten?
Yes.
Mr. Poplar?
Done.
Done?
He had to go to a plan commission meeting in, Burns Harbor.
For $50,000, 6-0 on the affirmative.
Council, 1,000-1025-25, additional 30,000 for legal, recover remaining attorney's fees for 2014.
Motion to table. I'll withdraw it.
The motion to approve. I'll second for discussion. Scott, please, for.
We had all rendered bill.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna get too excited.
I thought it was your pay.
And this is
No, mine, Bill.
this is Hall Render's involvement in us putting together this foundation and doing all these things that we need to
It
do.
was also part of the RFP that we did.
That's right.
So, all right. We have a motion, a second, discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rivas?
Yes.
Mr. Blair? Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Witten?
Yes,
Paparazzi's not here. Mr. Biggs? 6-0 in the affirmative, all present.
thank you. Second reading, please. No, please.
The following additional appropriations or reductions came before you for consideration and passed this body. Porter County General Fund, $35,540.24. The Porter County Motor Vehicle Highway Fund, $60,000. The Porter County Parks Operating Fund, $13,000. The Porter County Recorder Perpetuation Fund, $23,089. The Porter County Auditor on Reverting Fund, $50,000. The Porter County Prosecutor 40 Incentive Fund, $4,000. The Porter County Community Supervision Grant, $175,000. Reduction in the Porter County General Fund appropriation by $100,000. And reduction by the Porter County Juvenile Detention Codes, reduction by $31,343.
All right. So, I did. What's the pleasure of second reading? A motion. And a second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Graham? Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Paparazzi? Mr. Biggs? Mr. Rivas? 6-0 in the affirmative.
Perfect. Attorney's report. Mr. McClure, would you please update us on the foundation?
Yes, on the foundation issue that we're all under, we have the draft bylaws, we have the draft of the articles of incorporation. The foundation, we also have the draft of the requirements for the board members. We're also talking in terms of them being the committee. What I would like to do now, I'm talking to Michelle, I'd like to have a motion to, first motion to preliminary approve the board requirements as laid out, and then have Michelle advertise them for people to have applications as we normally do for other board appointments, and then ask the commissioners to bring this issue up to the first September meeting, and then at one of our meetings in September, we can come together and appoint the first board members, first committee members to this, and then that way they can then have the draft bylaws, draft articles of incorporation, and really that's tipping point to get this thing really rolling.
Can you tell us just briefly what the minimum qualifications would be for prospective applicants?
Not briefly, 2 pages, so.
Give it to us.
I mean, basically, fortunate members with specialized professional training, experience in management, finance, and law. The candidates for election to the board shall be
questions about what he's got there. You email, I know it's coming late in the day, but, you have hard copies here too, Scott?
I do. I mean, I can go, knowledge, experience, and general business principles, practices, including complex organizational leadership, corporate board experience, strategic thinking and planning, management performance, compensation, succession planning, change management, and diversity awareness, knowledge and experience in nonprofit governance, knowledge and experience in certain fields of experience, beneficial to the purposes and operation of the corporation, including financial and investment management, legal expertise, knowledge and experience in the areas of compliance and audit, quality improvement, risk management, information technology, knowledge and experience in public and community relations, and community benefit.
Okay, so again, let's kind of reiterate the roadmap here real quick. So we've got there a number of documents, but the one that is for consideration, that we're asked to be consideration tonight, is for us to adopt the preliminary draft of the minimum requirements for the board members, correct?
Correct.
Now, this is, we can change that later if we so desire, correct?
Correct.
You brought this because I've asked you in your conversations, we want to move this along.
Correct.
Right? And you've worked with Paul Render to get those compiled.
Correct.
And so, all right, so if we were to adopt those, which I hope we do tonight,
Correct.
then your suggestion is to have the commissioners adopt them at their first meeting in September,
Right.
and then our next move will be,
Even before the commissioners meeting, we advertise, I mean, advertise.
right,
And the commissioners can do the same for these two boards that when they appoint this preliminary plan.
right,
And so hopefully by the end of September, we can appoint our first committee that we're calling in, so that they can then take all these other documents that we have drafted and go through it, bring them to us, and say we move. That's the process. So basically, what I want the council to do tonight, preliminarily approve the requirements for the board, and ask Michelle to advertise her applications.
all right. And so let's say that we get a committee appointed, we get applicants, we get the boards come together, appoint 7 members we end up with. That committee, again, is going to go through these remaining documents, which they need to do. And then they'll come to us, we'll approve them, or change them, or do whatever we need to do. We'll get those rolling. Then we'll do a final appointment of the board. Then we'll adopt their bylaws and all those sorts of things that they need to do. And we can start rolling on this nomination.
Correct.
Okay.
What?
I'm gonna guess that it is,
What Scott
yes.
has proposed that we do, so we can get the ball rolling on this.
Well, and I appreciate you, I know you put a lot of work into some of it. You know, what? Yeah, but we just got this late this afternoon. And I personally have not had the opportunity to go through these. Councilman Wynn has pointed out that it's preliminary. And I think it's in this board's best interest to keep that in mind and to go into it that way, that if we approve it tonight for the purposes of moving this along, and so we're not holding up anything, that we're going in with the mindset that what we're approving is preliminary, it could change.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I personally, I'm still not gonna, we didn't get it, I'm not promoting anything even preliminary since I didn't see it. But, I mean, you just need a simple majority to
Yes.
move this forward?
Correct.
I
I certainly understand where Jim's coming from, but it's preliminary, so, you know, we can change it.
So we have a motion, Sylvia, is there a second? We have a second. Let's get a roll call, please.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Biggs?
Yeah.
Mr. Rivas?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Okay, so it's passed. Here's what I would suggest the board do. We're going to, in the meantime, start taking applications from our end. What I would suggest and ask that each board member do is take the opportunity between now and our next meeting to review what's been given to you. If you have any suggested changes, if you have any amendments that you want to make to it, if you're uncomfortable or have questions about anything that's been given to you, this is an important decision, that you share those concerns with our attorney, and we make modifications that we think are necessary. This might very well be a moving target getting into the final appointment of our board members.
So when we're not doing anything until the commissioners meet, and
No.
they approve this.
We're moving. I want us to start taking applications now. Because, and then, again, they're gonna hopefully approve it at their meeting, and they'll be on board, but the applications will be rolling, and then they might have suggested changes to the minimum qualifications as well. Again, this is a work in progress.
Laura, you got the same information we
I
received?
got it, but I haven't looked at it.
Huh?
I have not looked at it yet.
But you did get it?
We did get it.
Okay.
So, okay, so we all understand that, we're just gonna keep pushing it forward, and I know there's been some delay here, but Scott and I have had a number of meetings trying to get an idea, and then with Paul Render's involvement, that, you know, we wanted to iron it out, so.
I commend Councilman Smith, I commend you for moving this along, and you have the last 60 days, best forward. But just, let's keep in mind that, while this may help our situation here, it is not going to fix the program. It will help.
It will help. All right, so, we got that. Anything else, Scott? All right, let's talk about the budget schedule. You have in front of you 2015 proposed budget hearing schedule. I hope you do. Do you?
I don't think she did.
Oh, it's in there somewhere.
Put it all right there, right there.
Well, that was a snake on that. And the way that you've seen it, you know, we kick this thing off September 10th, let the meetings begin. We get into September 11th, very lucky day, we start dealing with some of these second readings, and so forth, and so on, and so forth.
I take the little parentheses with the sheet up and the general fund.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think, yes, you can.
I put that one at 5:30, because that's our normal meeting.
Right.
So I thought if you guys wanted to have a regular meeting that day, if you wanted to do it at 5, that would give you enough time, I don't know. But that's the reason.
All right. So what do you guys think about this budget schedule? Is everybody okay with it?
Do we want to do 5?
By the way,
5 p.m. start time.
why are you looking at me?
Well, gee.
Only because you're the president.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for recognizing, Scott.
I appreciate it.
Well, I think it makes sense, but the question is, can we do 5 p.m.? I mean, the earlier the better,
if you
but
want-
can we do 5 p.m.?
If you want my honest answer, I prefer 5:30.
Stay with 5.
I have a Boy Scout meeting on the 10th at 6 o'clock, so it's possible we get one on the 10th at 5:30 or 5 o'clock.
Yes.
The rest of them after that can be 5:30, I have no problem.
Yeah, that's fine, that's great. Everybody okay with that? Our first one on the 10th, we have,
That'll be a quick meeting.
yeah, we did everything. And then everything else at 5:30? Thanks, guys. Give me a shot. All right, so that's our budget hearing schedule. What other concerns or questions do we have about this? I hope that we have, well, we can beat that first question.
Will we have, Mr. Auditor, would you be able to give us a estimate on next year's revenue by the beginning of the budget, such as general fund revenue? Sure. Thank you.
All right?
May I also ask that, our budget director and the auditor's office work together to getting that number from you at that point, and our budget director is coming up with another number. So please communicate between now and then. Is that possible?
And I can think of no potential tension between the two. So I think that's gonna
Well,
be like.
that aside.
You know what, I got it, I've been quiet. Just today, Ryan and I had a discussion about the new financial revenue, we're working on putting it together, and then I'm trying to do pieces that the auditor's office will need to know to give an estimate of what we're looking at next year. So we do talk quite often.
Okay. If you weren't running for that office, I wouldn't ask that question.
Well,
But we're under unusual circumstances, so I just want to make it crystal clear that we don't expect,
We're all in this together.
Can we talk about, in general, what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Sure?
Okay. We tentatively, this is how we're planning it, Michelle and I have been working on this. This is basically the entire budget, and you will be getting, books that look like this. Each one will have the 144 in the traditional format, and then you're going to do like a spreadsheet type of format, where it includes some notes to explain some things. And so it'll be a pared down version of the traditional budget that you see. We're going to stay with some trees and some process hopefully. We'll still put the regular budgets up on the screen, so you'll see the regular format and all the different line items that are available. In talking with several of you, clearly, everyone knows that the big issue is health insurance. And we were looking at the numbers. If you look at all the general fund budgets as submitted, and you remove the health insurance in the general fund budget, and there's 3 areas of the general fund that there's insurance being proposed. There's commissioners, E911, and then the 4D court. Now, that's in their own budget because they get partially reimbursed from the if you were to remove health insurance from the general fund, just strictly food, and let's say that we want to flatline the budget, we want to keep the same bottom line, right off the bat, you will have a total of $5 million available in health insurance. Now, that will not all come from the general fund, about $3 million will come from the general fund, $2 million from the non-general fund. So just to start off the gate, know that you have the ability to appropriate $5 million for health insurance. No changes.
No cuts, which we're gonna be doing some cuts.
Correct.
We all get that?
Well, the only cuts would be in the health insurance line item. The commissioners are proposing $8.8 million in their budget. So I said remove health insurance from the general.
I was talking about other cuts.
Exactly, just what I mean. So that's what you're talking about, Jim. What's the reason? $5 million is right off the bat. Not just general fund plus the non-general.
But that's taking us right up the door. And that's with flatlining operational costs and county government.
It's keeping the general fund budget.
Right, I'm just saying that something radical needs to change.
Yeah, just at the rate it is this year, that buys 5 months worth of health insurance.
Well, I think we all get it. We're gonna have to be looking at other options, but at least that gives you a starting block, understanding what we're looking at. Okay, any questions for Vicki?
She got, what else, Vicki, you got more?
More on general, about the general fund, some of the other issues. Some of the issues that we talked about, do we put council on aging and family leave back in the general fund? They were removed last year to this year's fee. Council on aging is seeking an increase. There is a new department being proposed, and I added that into the general fund. If you want to approve the new department, that's one of the questions you'll have to decide. And also.
Are you talking about HR?
It's $127,000. There's some other issues. E911, as I mentioned, is asking the general fund to absorb the health insurance costs because at the end of the day, we don't know what's happening there.
It rained.
And then there's some things under non-general fund that I just want to reiterate, you'll see this in your budget book. The riverboat fund will have to address once again, because as we all know, we cannot support longevity boats
kind of the things I wanted you to hammer down with us at our first reading.
Okay.
When we're all in that much mindset.
Can I do my PowerPoint on health insurance?
Tonight.
No.
Because the answer is no. Okay.
I can't wait to dig into your PowerPoint. I'm okay to sit here all night.
What do you think I need to do a PowerPoint at this meeting?
Fire it up, Jerry.
I'm the only one here.
Is there anything else?
When are we gonna get those books?
And I take responsibility for that. I was meeting with the department today to find things, and they'll be ready to go to the print shop tomorrow, print shop. Basically, I need to do some finishing up work, and I'll get it to Michelle, and she'll do her end, and probably.
So as we move these budgets, I mean, we requested a reduction in some of these budgets, not all these budgets, some of them gave us reductions, some did not. So we're gonna wanna identify those that came in.
Do we know what percent actually came back with reduction?
Yes, I have the check here.
And we brought a copy of it, you know what percent? You don't have to be exact.
Who came in with,
Overall increase.
who came in, what, how many of, just generally speaking, what percentage of the budgets came in with the requested 10% decrease?
10 departments. Now, I rounded it up, like say they cut 9.7, I just rounded.
That's fine.
So 10, so 10 out of all of them?
Out of about 40.
Which ones were they?
Oh, our message was heard, but.
Now, I do just want to say, on the 10th of the department, there were many that made cuts, 24 made cuts, but not up to this.
Okay.
The ones that made this 10% were the commissioners, 1233 fund, that's the one that is, for the jail, the jail. That used to be funded from the federal fees and agencies. Parks, treasurer, ICF, animal shelter, auditor, county council.
County council, we cut a couple numbers out.
You made a cut, baby. There she is.
Yeah. Election board was 9.5, drainage board, and board. Those were the 10%, or the 9.5 and above.
Okay, so we've got some work ahead of us. I intend to, with the blue eye, and those that didn't, cuts. And, I mean, if they made the effort, I mean, I guess that goes away, got a long way to leave, but those that came in with no cuts or increases, that's gonna be a hard discussion.
And also, I want to point out, that you'll also get this in your information, I mean, that there were, as you know, a number of departments this year that have reduced their own budget for tonight. And the parks department, they cut the auditor, whereas the jail, the jail, yeah, and the juvenile probation. So what I'm doing is I'm also showing you how they cut this year's budget compared to what they're doing for next year. And for example, the parks, they further cut for next year. So there's something to keep in mind.
That's
Did you take out of the animal life?
All right, so, any other questions or concerns or thoughts or ideas?
Sylvia, any questions for Vicki, any information that you might need leading up to the 10th, the 11th?
I think that we gathered a lot of information tonight.
Thank you, Sylvia. Karen? Jeremy, do you have anything to add? Anything you want on there? You got a little more time, you just want this to never end?
Vicki, are you finished? I mean, you got more information for us? that we
Oh, I
might
can keep
need?
talking, but I need time to
Jim's? All right.
That's what with the livestock one is gonna be.
So, we still pick some stuff up by the end of the week, Vicki? And send emails and...
Perfect.
Call me when they're ready, I'll come get, bring Jeremy.
Motion to dismiss.
Let's go.